All right. Sharon, Baya, Sharon, Chrissy. One brain good, but two brains better. So I invited Chrissy to have a little bit whelping box talk with me. Rare opportunity to see two breeders in their pajamas
I
late at
am not
night.
in my pajamas.
Okay. Late at night, and while I'm waiting for something happen here, which is will happen probably late tonight, close to the morning or tomorrow. Bias temperature dropped in the morning, 98. So she's taking her last rest, and probably soon it's gonna happen. But who knows with Baya? Baya is crazy. 10 minutes ago she
Okay,
was
wait.
running outside like a wacky.
So what does it mean when you take her temperature?
I know when the time frame when the puppy is supposed to born. There is the whole chart. Everybody should know this. Everybody who whelp in that litter, the temperature rise, then the temperature drops, and then you have 12 to 24 hours till puppies arrive.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. To be honest with you, I never was able to, in all years I'm breeding, I measure temperature of everybody, and not only twice a day, but like 4 or 5 times a day. I'm a little annoying about this, but I never was able to really catch to say, hey, this is the actual drop. I don't know. Maybe because my females are always so fit.
Well,
Who knows?
they do say, I mean, it's definitely different in every dog. They do
Right.
say like it can just be a quick drop and you could miss it.
Right.
So
Right. So, but in all these years, everybody who I tried, I did caught this one dropping today for the first time in years. Now, usually by this time, all my females are sleeping for several days and digging and not eating. Not that one. That one was wide open today. Jamie said those puppies, when they're born, they're going to be probably sleeping, resting for 2 weeks just from that wild ride inside of her.
possible. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
see, and for mine, like mine, I can get the temperature drop, but almost always my bitches will deliver at night.
Yeah.
Unless I keep it dark. Like if I keep it dark, sometimes it'll throw them off and they'll have it in the middle of the day. So I usually try and keep it dark because I'd much rather them have it during the day. Because
you do?
Oh yeah, well because you can call a vet during the day a lot
Well,
easier.
that's true. Yeah. That's true. That's make it easy. And have a veterinarian standby on point and easy access to this is super important. Yeah. I didn't thought about this way. Got lucky, never needed yet emergency services. But me personally, I prefer at night. Quiet. House is quiet. Everybody is sleeping. It's only me and a girly, and I get things done in the quiet much better.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's the dog, but I've had a few that have delivered during the day and it's been, or at least early in the morning, it's actually
early in the morning. It takes me like about almost mine. Early in the morning, 4 a.m. starting, finishing up whatever early in the morning. And one time I had in the middle of the day, of course, Sparta. Gotta be different.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what kind of mom she is since this is her first litter.
Yes, me too. And her temperament being so never sleeping, outgoing, wild, crazy, ready for fight any minute, work. I'm curious, but I thought she's a little bit full of shit on that part, because last week she became cuddly, needy all day long. Hugs and kisses and cuddling all day long. Usually I try not to be too much hands-on and bother the bitches. Of course, it's curious, it's interesting, we're nervous, we're excited all at the same time. But I get going with my day. I have camera here, magnetic Arlo, and it's in my phone, and I pick on her and see what she's doing, what the female's doing. Usually they just sleep here and lay in the whelping box, and I've been picking on her for the last 2 days, but I've been doing stuff around the house and trying not to bother them, not to check them 1,000 times and stuff like that.
I keep my cameras too on the females and stuff.
It's priceless. It's so priceless.
Yeah. The good thing about technology sometimes. But yeah. So here's a question. So do you feel like, I was thinking about this earlier, do you feel like they're better moms if they're more an independent dog versus like a spoiled dog? Because like I spoiled the heck out of my first Corso, and she was not such a great mom because she really wanted to be with me, not be in the box, not whatever. Glow was the same way. Glow wanted to be, you know, with me, didn't really care about being a mom. So I've pushed that off more, where I don't baby them as much because I feel like it makes a big difference when they're moms. But what's your experience?
Yeah, so my experience is the opposite of you, but I was lucky enough to have one spoiled bitch that was spoiled not by me. And by spoiled, I mean, I don't want people to think that I don't love my dog and cuddle them. Sometimes I do, you know, but I like independent dogs. You know, if I don't have time for you, be on your way and wait for me until I clap my hands, say, let's go. So my dogs are usually not all sucking attention from us all day long. They're happy to be partners in crime when I call them, but they're not typical, really spoiled, cuddly dogs. They have pretty good off switch, and everything out, food, knock on wood. So far, all these years, we had all great moms. Everybody was amazing moms. I had two different incidents, don't call it incidents, but two different stories. One of them was a female that was raised by co-owner, and that's another reason why I don't do this anymore. I don't do co-own females and stuff like that. So she was a typical needy female that got tons of attention for free forever. And that specific female, she was a good mom with nobody around. You know, I couldn't say that she was not a good mom. But God forbid any human was on her side. I mean, she would jump in the box, step all over her puppies, just want to get out. Hey, pet me, love me, and all that. So it was, you know, she immediately didn't care about the puppies. And the moment you leave the side, she's like, blip. In the camera, I see her. She's a great mom. So yeah, that was one. And another one was a female that was not from our, I don't like to use lines because, you know, that's the whole different subject. Me personally, I believe line, it's at least 5 generations of the same household breeding that starts the line. So, you know, everything we have here, even we have 3-4 generations of our own Ivy League dogs, I'm not calling this line yet. You know, they made from different dogs from different breeders anyway. But I had a female that did not born here, and she was raised here, but she was a pickup puppy that I took back from another breeder that uses one of my studs. She was a little bit different female. She was a great dog, but her pregnancy was miserable. She wanted nothing to do with the whelping, nothing to do with the puppies at all. And we spayed her and placed her in companion home. She's a great companion dog. You know, so I'm a big believer in genetics on the maternal side. Good mom, puppy out of this mom will make a good mom, you know, and stuff like that. The same with reproductive issues and things like that. The maternal side is crazy, super important for me. Like there would be some people that knew, my friends that knew this female, for example, the last one that I told you about this, and she was a nice, big, beautiful female, champion and everything. We invested in her a lot. She was a great dog. And I've heard several telling me like, why give her another shot? You know, maybe she didn't click, maybe she's this. I don't play with that. It's gotta be easy and enjoyable for them from the beginning, or out. Why to force it? Why to take even another chance? You know what I mean? And I strongly believe it's come from mother to daughter, from daughter to mother, and so on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's why, I mean, I definitely, like when I think about all mine and how they were all related, And like I said, my first one was not a good mom. My second one was not a good mom. But I honestly believe that I would say 75% of that was because I spoiled them. Because then
could be,
the next litters after that, I mean, phenomenal moms, phenomenal. Like,
and they
I mean,
from
I
the
have
same,
one
and they from the same lineage
in
and
the
stuff.
same
So
line. Yeah.
see,
Yeah. I mean, like
see,
I had
it's
some,
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how different, different experiences we breeders have in our breeding program. I'm grateful that
yeah,
you're
I
having
don't
this talk
think,
with me.
I mean, the ones that I've bred a couple times, I don't think that their style ever changed. Like, I mean, one female I had, she was a phenomenal mom every single time. And the other female I've bred, she's a good mom, not so gentle on where she stepped, and it's continued on. Like she's a good mom. I just know that there's a chance that she
Not
may
super
go.
careful.
Right, right. So it's interesting in that respect where I think your point to that last female that you bred, it makes sense. I mean, she probably would not have gotten better. I mean,
yeah, no, we had some very big litters here. Actually, Sniper, our smallest dog, she always gave the biggest litter, and she tiptoed around those puppies. She was so careful, always in her very last litter. She did maintain it, but I mean, there was a bunch of them here. It was 14 puppies. She did maintain to smooshed one, and she knew it. I found it under her, and she went depressed for several days. She's just like her mom, Ivy. She's like mother from God. Born to be mother, always wanted to be mother. One of those. I mean, I took this puppy away, and she knew, and she definitely got depressed. I will never forget those
rough.
eyes. But
I've seen it happen. And the mom, you're right. I mean, they definitely, how can they not know, kind of thing. I mean, if they don't know, they don't care. And that's
which leads it again, back to my first video that I was trying a little bit like to say like, hey, for new breeders and that's starting out, gotta be prepared. I mean, that's the importance, like good wide whelping box with these large breed dogs and wide rails with a lot of space under. It can save lives. I mean, to whelp puppies in a little kiddie pool, this is just called for disaster.
I do think you have to be careful because I mean, my first whelping box was ridiculously huge, and I honestly think it was too big. Like it was big enough that I could have slept.
It can be too big too. It's gotta be just right, but not too small.
Right. I agree with that. Or it can get too cold. The two puppies can get too far away. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, temperature super important. So I want to ask you this: the temperature by the book, if we're going by the book, the temperature in the whelping box should be 85 degrees the first 2 to 3 days, which never happened. The females are way too hot, and you see the puppies. It's my experience. I constantly see puppies get way too hot. They spread around. They don't want to eat and things like that. I find out that I do the best in between 77 to 80 actually in the first 3 days. I actually keep it all the time, kind of like that. It's 76 here right now on my thermometer. It's comfortable, but it feels like a little bit chilly, maybe a little bit up when I'll raise it a little bit up when the puppy is born. But it's never worked it out for 85 degrees. It's always hot. So you're the same.
No, for me, it's too, like you said, it's too hot. Mom's hot, the puppies are hot. And you want the puppies close to mom. You don't want them to be so hot that they don't want to be near mom because then they're not going to want to eat.
Right.
I mean,
and this is the thing that, how's one find information, outside to help themselves to educate themselves before the first litter? Because you read all this information and it does have all these numbers. Because I'm telling you this because I did had last year I had some new breeder call me and they actually cooked several puppies because the temperature was way too hot and eventually they got dehydrated and but she said like we're trying to keep the temperature like everywhere I read it's 85. So listen to your dog, read your dogs, see their behaviors, what's comfortable for them. you know.
Yeah. Well, and it's so important to know people. I mean, to know, like, I mean, I see it back in the beginning, I was using heat lamps and stuff. And now
Yes, yes,
they've got heat lamps that aren't red that put off lower amounts of heat. That's a safer amount of heat, but I don't even
correct,
use that really. I mean, now I'm
correct.
using, some sort of, dog heating pad underneath. That way there's heat where they want to be, but then they can escape it and get away
Right.
because
I use the same. Yeah, I use
yeah.
medium size of fat, but little bit on the side where mom not laying, so the puppies
Yeah,
can crawl
I
there
don't
and
ever,
crawl
I
back.
hardly ever use, the only time I ever really use the heating lamp is in the winter when, depending on where the location of the box is and stuff, if it's drafty or whatever. But, even the drafty stuff, like I'll put up a kennel fence and I put blankets over it to prevent that draft from coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're always perfecting. I mean, for me, like,
Always years
I'm always
later, and there's
changing.
always things to. But there are certain items that must have. You know,
Yep.
certain items that always. What is use items must have? I haven't. I always have colostrum in the syringe, just in case, and I threw them away every year because I never use them. Food, knock on wood. Hopefully, it's gonna continue like that. She's already have milk. I've been milking her, checking, and every booby is working.
You should squeeze that stuff out and save it.
I know
Put it
it's
in
a
the
little bit,
fridge.
but I checked. I squeezed every nipple and see, and then she's like, "Here's my colostrum. I'm ready." But I always have a syringe of colostrum ready, and frozen plasma. I always have ready. The benefits of being a donor and blood bank, because that stuff is expensive, but it's really can
Yeah, I mean, I thank you for
save us.
that. I mean, I still have it in my freezer from when you gave it to me before, and yeah, I
I'll throw it
definitely.
away. It's probably all. I'll give you a new one.
I think I have a packet that's not, but I'll check. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else though? Well, the boogie sucker is always a needed one.
The what?
The boogie sucker.
The boogie sucker. Boogie sucker is the must. Absolutely. Boogie
Yeah.
sucker. For people who does not know what boogie sucker is, this is the boogie sucker.
There you go.
Suck the snot and boogies out of the mouth and nose
Yeah.
to clean the airways. And
It's either that. It's either that, or you're gonna have to use your mouth. And
yeah. Ew.
no thanks. I don't want to do that.
No thanks. No, me too. No, I love them, but up to that. Yeah, absolutely. Not
I
pet,
have. I'll tell
can
you
to
this
write
though.
not to write some notes, because sometimes they pop out one after another, and shit, you gotta write some notes down. Placentas, the importance of counting placentas and knowing that everything came out of the female. This is like crazy, crazy important. Couple
Do you
of
let
weeks
them
ago.
eat it? Do you let them eat it?
I eat them. I let them eat first 1, 2, 3. It's important. It's proteins. It's
No,
it's
I agree.
but too many will cause diarrhea, and it's too many. The same actually is the same with guts and shit. They do actually the same. Not
really. I had no
not dog
idea.
related, but yeah, I find this actually very, very interesting. Usually, breeders will let them eat like one and take the rest if they have like 2, 3 babies.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes too much. But yeah, super, super important. 2 weeks ago, I had a phone call also. Eventually, they lost a female. It's a young breeder. We lost the female, and she got retained placentas and got all things can escalate very quick. But the most important is to have a good network of veterinarians, or at least one veterinarian, preferable a breeder themselves veterinarian, or reproductive veterinarian that you can always call for advice, not just your regular hood veterinarian. The best
Even having an emergency one, God forbid. I mean, anytime anything happens at night, like I tell even regular pet people, like find the closest emergency vet or 2.
Absolutely. And make contact with them before.
Fridge, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, it's tough. Like being a breeder, like you still got to advocate for the dog, and but like you said before, like you got to know the dog. You got to
know the dog.
Are they having issues?
And
are they not having issues? Yeah.
Another good source I find, let's talk about Facebook groups. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I know. I mean, there is so much drama going on, so much bullshit and so much bitching around, but there is some good ones
Yeah.
and some good ones for breeders. Usually they are private with thousands of members, all type of breeds. Don't look just for CaneCorso. You know, and there's some long time, many years experienced people in this group. However, one got a search and went go through many groups till they find a good one.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah. I
usually
mean,
you see pretty quick. You know, if you see every post, people get bitchy. You should not breed. That not should not breed. Do you do this? Do you do this? Usually, you know that it can be, you know, like
yeah.
not so great group.
There's always the good and the bad, which
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
But the good
Yeah.
ones have tons of information, really like tons of information.
yeah. Well, you and I both know when the shit hits the fan, you forget everything and you just end
Yeah.
up picking up the phone and calling somebody you know because you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. That's why
Yeah.
I have you on the
Almost,
phone with me right
almost
now.
every litter, I'm like on the phone with somebody going, wait, how do I do this again? And I'm like, you know, it's just you need it.
Yeah. To have friends, breeders, and have support like that you can have call any
Yeah.
minute at night. Oh, they're moving. They're ready to come out. They're like kicking.
Ooh,
Boing.
they're coming out the side.
Yeah,
Squeeze the nipple. Maybe I'll get one out.
Yeah. Anybody there? I mean, it's nice to finally have her staying still, laying down, so I can actually enjoy petting her. This dog is boing everywhere, all the time,
Too funny.
nonstop.
Well,
Not
you're
the
not gonna be getting
average companion home dog. All those
Yeah.
puppies are spoken for. They're all going to jump fences and do recalls, and all of them gonna go fight some people in the suits. Hopefully,
Train
life
biting.
too.
Train biting.
Yeah. They're all going to sport homes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's honestly, in my opinion, being a breeder, hardest thing is finding good homes.
Yes.
Hardest thing.
Yes.
I mean, you know, a lot of people
Absolutely.
want one, but you know, the saddest, it's funny because the saddest part of being a breeder is when you get a dog back that's not well taken care of, or not to say when you get the dog back, but even just to go visit, stay in contact, and you find out it's morbidly obese, the nails are super long, it's not
Yeah.
being cared for, and it breaks your heart. You know, you're
Yeah.
like, look, I trusted you.
Absolutely.
And you know, that's the hardest. And I don't honestly, I mean, new breeders, like I mean, my mind gets blown every time just trying to find a good home. And I can't imagine being a new breeder who doesn't have a network of people, who, you know, is just
Doesn't have the
starting out
results
with
yet.
nothing. How do you find, I wouldn't even have a clue of how you go and find homes. I mean, let's not even talk about if you had a litter of 10 plus puppies. Forget it, you know?
Yep.
And then you end up making bad decisions because you just want them out of the house, and that's not right either. I mean, you know, you got to be willing if you're going to have a litter. Go ahead.
It's important to investigate people ahead of time. We usually start year before we even plan the litter, you know, in certain combination. Like here, there are some puppies in here that's being waited for over a year.
Yeah.
No, but they want something specific in sport and understanding that this is a working type of dog, active dog, not a couch potato, and gotta put work down. So
yeah, even the breeders who think that they're a couch potato, is, I hate to say it, but sometimes I look at the dogs and think they're a couch potato because they're obese.
Because they're fat and obese and long nails and cannot walk and
yeah.
They're not. It's sad.
They're happy being active. Let's be realistic. You know.
Yep. You know what's funny? Since we moved to this new property, that we bought it for dogs. You know, when I saw this property, and that's gonna be a different video. Everything we've done here, what we bought, a jungle, and what we created here. But they were normal house dogs before. I mean, we went out every day, We didn't have a property, so they all got loaded up in the car every day, and I took them training and hiking and swimming and what's not. But they was living in the house. We moved to this property, and they have the whole dog floor. You know, they have their own. I mean, everything here, right? And they don't want to be in the house, not here and not upstairs. Vendetta, after we achieved the IGP3, I mean, Vendetta has this double quad, super nice, and and we did our IGP3 in the winter, and she was like, "So, just please go with me in the bed. You earned it now." And I bath her, and I opened my door and says, "Look, be a house dog now. I mean, you worked so hard for me. You earned so many titles for me. You made a history this year." And I let her home, and she was happy for 3 days. And then after 3 days, she's like by the door, like, "Let me out. You live in this claustrophobic place. I'm done with it."
It's true.
You know?
I mean, my
They
dogs,
love to be
I leave the doors
outside.
open, and if I leave the doors open, they're out there and they're just relaxing, doing nothing but out. And I much prefer that. I mean, I'd much rather
Yeah.
have a dog that prefers to be outside. It's
Yeah,
healthier,
yeah.
you
And
know?
they bred for it. No, they bred for it. They're supposed to constantly patrol and do their job, you know, keeping eyes and ears. Maybe there's somebody to come so we can take a little piece of it.
Yeah. Right. So,
Yeah, that's Baya.
well,
Yeah.
good luck on your puppy duty. I guarantee I'll be texting you in the morning and it'll be status quo.
Thank you very much. Listen, I'm gonna call you once it's gonna start. I'm gonna call you again, wake you up, and we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah. This is why I have do not disturb on my phone.
Not for me.
You're
Oh my
like,
God,
I
they
know you're
peeking.
home.
I wish you could feel it and see it. Wow, they like doing it, like really doing it. All right, girl, I'll let you go. Thank you very much for a nice talk, and I'll see you soon again.
All right. Good luck, Baya.